Please tell me your name.
Sir, my name is Ranjan-Mock.
And give me a roll number for this exam.
So 315219.
Please give me a formal introduction.
Sir, my name is Ranjan-Mock. I belong to the district of Nayagad. I have done my graduation from College of Agriculture, OUAT, in 2019. And sir, currently I am pursuing my masters in Agricultural Economics Department from College of Agriculture, OUAT. And sir, my hobbies include playing badminton.
Okay. So today's your second interview. We will focus on agriculture and forestry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll start with agriculture. Tell me something about what you mean by multi-storied cropping. What is the concept and principles behind it? And give me examples from Odisha where multi-storied cropping has been successful. And what are the different stories of crops they have used there?
Yes, sir. Sir, multi-storied cropping basically relates to a cropping system in which crops are cultivated in a multiphasic manner. That is, crops are cultivated at different heights. Sir, for example, if we cultivate coconut, then sir, pineapple, banana and pepper at different height, then the sunlight will penetrate according to their height. And sir, in multi-storied cropping, the basic advantage is we get maximum amount of field on a space, and sir, it increases the spatial and temporal dimensions of the cropping system, for which it is being helpful.
Okay. What is a weed and how weed is managed? Tell me the cultural methods,
Yes, sir.
and chemical methods, mechanical methods.
Yes, sir. Sir, weeds is any unwanted substances that can damage the crop yield and influence the human plant population in an adverse manner. So, for example, there are different type of weed like Amaranthus, Chenopodium album, Phalaris minor in wheat, and sir, rice also there is Echinoclea crosscali, Echinoclea colonum is there. So these are the types of weeds. And sir, for controlling weeds there are several methods, like cultural methods is there, some mechanical methods, biological methods, different types of method. Sir, in cultural method we can do flood the whole field so that the weeds become damaged with and can't germinate. And sir, we can also plowing also. If we plow the field, then the weed will be damaged. And sir, mechanical method also there is different methods like dredging, soil solarization. Like if we cover the field with polythene plastic sheet, then the sunlight will be on it, and sir, it will damage the weed population. And sir, there is chemical methods like for the broad-leaved weed we can use 2,4-D. And sir, there is different type: pre-emergence herbicide, post-emergence herbicide, and pre-plant incorporation herbicide. Pre-plant incorporation herbicide there is flucloraline, basalin is there. Sir, for pre-emergence we can use pendimethalin, that is before the emergence of the weed, that is sprayed. And sir, for post-emergence there is butachlor, alachlor is there. After the emergence of the weed, it kills the weed. And sir, regarding the biological method, there is a peculiar weed that is called Parthenium, that is we can encounter it roadside. For controlling Parthenium we can use a beetle called Zygogramma bicolorata. So these are the several methods through which we can control the weeds in a holistic manner.
Okay. So tell me something about the various methods to generate
Yes, sir.
or artificially regenerate a forest?
Yes.
And what are the processes of natural regeneration of forest?
Sir, forest generation is related to a process in which the old crop is replaced by a new crop. And sir, basically the forest can be regenerated by two means. Sir, as you have said, natural means and artificial means. Sir, for natural means, the forest can be generated by seeds. If in a forest, the forest seeds are on the ground, falls on the ground, and sir, it regenerates naturally. So that is a kind of natural forest. And sir, for artificial generation, and sir, also for natural regeneration, it can be regenerated by the coppices as well. The slump we left after cutting the tree, through which also forest can be regenerated. And for sir, artificial means it can be generated through pollarding also. Like pollard relates to a stump which is the size of 15 to 20 centimeter, through which a forestry can also be grown. And sir, there is also other method like root suckers also there. Sir, through suckers also forest can be regenerated. And sir, also coppicing is also another method of growing artificial forest. These are the type of methods, sir.
So what is the difference between relay cropping and intercropping?
Yes, sir. Sir, relay cropping is planting or sowing a crop before another crop is harvested. Sir, for example, there is a peculiar type of cropping followed in India, that is maize, yarly wheat and mungo. Sir, yarly wheat is planted before the maize crop is harvested, and mung is planted before the yarly wheat is harvested. So sir, this is the type, this is the relay cropping. And sir, intercropping is about mixing the two crops at a time in a definite row pattern. For example, sir, there is red gram and setaria. We can plant it in 7:3 in a proper row and definite proportion manner. So that is the basic difference. In intercropping, we are planting the two crops at a time in a row pattern, and in relay cropping, we are planting a crop whereas a crop has not yet been harvested, the other crop.
Which is your home district?
Sir, my home district is Noyagarh.
Recently a news has come that one particular district of Odisha is the only one in India to have all the 3 species of crocodiles that are found in India.
Yes, sir.
Which one? Which district?
Sir, I am not sure about it. I think it's Kendrapada, sir.
Kendrapada is correct.
Yes, sir. Magar, Gharial crocodile and saltwater crocodile.
Okay. Fine. So let us continue with your agriculture. So what do you mean by social forestry? What are tell me any 4 important, there are so many principles, 4 important principles of social forestry. And has social forestry been successful in Odisha?
Yes, sir. Sir, social forestry is a type of forestry in which we plant forest species in an area where it is holistically managed by the nearby people. We take into account the local people and manage the forest in a sustainable manner. That is the basic concept of social forestry. So there are several kind of social forestry like farm forestry, avenue forestry, and sir, extension forestry is there, and commercial forestry is also a type of social forestry also. And sir, there are several principles in it. Sir, for example, firstly, the social forestry takes into account the local people, that is the management and participation of the local people. And sir, secondly, it excludes any kind of artificial exploitation, that is it takes into account using the forest resources in a sustainable manner so that it cannot be damaged. And sir, thirdly, it also gives employment opportunity to the local people, so that sir, there are several NTFP, that is non-timber forest produce, that is lac, gum, resin, and sir, honey is also there. That can be also done in a sustainable manner so that the economic opportunities of the people can be improved. Sir, that is basically the concept of social forestry. And sir, regarding its successful implementation in Odisha, sir, as Odisha is a tribal rich region, it contributed to around 13 PBTs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, of total 75 PPTs in Odisha. So it has huge scope and they are doing on a large scale, so that sir, forest first also makes them economically beneficent, and sir, secondly it also gives climate, it also helps climate in a sustainable manner. Sir, for that reason social forestry is important, and it is particularly been highlighted in Odisha also, sir, like in Amo Jangala Yojana that the government has initiated in 2014, and sir, Mo Jangal initiative is also there, and sir, recently the Pradhan Mantri Bandhan Yojana also, we can also give remuneration to the people of tribal people of Odisha through TriFed, that is Tribal Federation of India. Sir, that can be the possible option, and it is doing good in Odisha perspective.
Okay. So, you know about agricultural subsidies?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
World Trade Organization has classified them into various colors or boxes.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what are the boxes you know, and which box is considered safe, and which box is generally prohibited or considered to be not good for according to World Trade Organization?
Yes, sir. Sir, the WTO World Trade Organization has classified the subsidy into 3 colored boxes. Sir, the first box is green box, second is amber box, and third is blue box. Sir, the green box basically relates to giving subsidy. There is no limit on that. That is green subsidy. Sir, for example, for doing research, if we are giving any kind of subsidy, that counts under green box on. There is no limit on that. And sir, there is blue box in which any kind of subsidy amounts to certain kind of limitations. Sir, for example, if we are giving subsidy to our farmer, for example, exporting sugar to other countries, then that should be within a specified range, so that it cannot disturb trade in international practices. And so there is amber box is also there. Amber box is a mix of both green box and blue box, that is giving some subsidy exemptions along with some limitations also there. That is basically the concepts of subsidy boxes of WTO.
So, tell me something about the advantages of micro irrigation and why it has not been that popular in Odisha till now.
Yes, sir. Sir, micro irrigation is a type of irrigation that relates to brief or precise application of the water to the crop area, so that the water use efficiency can be improved and the water is not wasted, as water is a limited resource. Sir, regarding its advantages, there are basically 2 types of micro irrigation is popular: drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation. That has several advantages. Sir, firstly, we can install them in an undulated area in which the other type of conventional type of irrigation system installation can be possible. We can use in that area. And sir, secondly, it uses water in a very precise manner to the crop location, so that water is conserved. And secondly, sir, for desert area also, in which the wind velocity is also more, we can use the drip irrigation system is there. And sir, for saline water also, drip irrigation system and sprinkler irrigation system is also important, and that excludes the salinity from the water. And sir, regarding Odisha perspective, it has not yet been more popular, though sir, drip irrigation is 90% efficient and sprinkler irrigation nearly 80% efficient, but it is not more popular in Odisha due to some technological lapses. If we can give subsidy to the farmers for installing the drip irrigation and the sprinkler irrigation, that can go into a long way. Sir, these are the high installation cost projects that the farmer cannot bear on its own. If we can put thrust upon it, then certainly the situation will improve. And if we certainly follow the Israel model of drip technology aspect, how they are doing agriculture, how they are using drip irrigation in their field, then sir, certainly that can be also done in Odisha in a big scale.
Okay. So, tell me something about your various types of your plant breeding, okay? Especially pure line, pedigree, and mass and recurrent selections.
Yes,
what is the difference between them?
Yes, sir. Sir, there are numerous types of breeding system through which we can breed the plant crop species. Sir, there are several like pure line selection, mass selection, there is also recurrent selection is there. Sir, through pure line selection, what we basically do, we extract the seeds of pure self-pollinated crop seeds, and we firstly we plant them in a segregated field so that it cannot disperse in another arena, and in the second generation the seed is harvested, and sir, then the superior quality of seeds among them is again planted on the field. That is what we do. We basically, sir, don't mixing the purity of the seeds, that is we maintain the purity of the seeds. That is the pure line selection, that the seed produced through it is pure through to its quality and all types of genetic traits. And sir, in pure line mass selection, we take the seeds of the different types of seeds, different types of species of the seeds, and we bulk them, then we plant them on the field. Sir, it is basically relates to the cross type pollinated of the seeds. Like sir, for example, we can use it for the pea species also, gram species also. Sir, we plant the seeds on the field, and sir, in the second generation the same procedure followed. Sir, the difference is in this mass selection there is chance of mixing the traits of the seed, that is the trait of the seed is not remain intact that much as in the pure line selection it is. And sir, it is in recurrent selection, we first take the seeds of the crop and plant it in the field, and in the second generation the recurrent species, that is if we cross the F1 hybrid with of the recessive parent species, or that is which is recurrent, then that occurs to accounts to more of the trait of that parent species. So sir, that's basically a complex type of breeding method, recurrent selection with respect to pure line selection and mass selection. That is the difference, sir.
Okay. Now let us come to forestry.
Yes, sir.
So tell me something about what you know about the Forest Rights Act.
Yes, sir. Sir, the Forest Right Acts basically called the Forest Dwellers Rights Act. It has been come into prominence in 2006. Sir, there are several rights under the Forest Rights Act, like the title rights, use right, management right is also there. Sir, through the title rights, the tribal people can exercise their presence that this forest is belong to them. Use right means the tribal people can use the forest product, the non-timber forest produce that has been accruing from the forest, they can use them. And through management right, it has been the responsibility for the tribals to manage the forest in a holistical manner. And sir, there are like several provisions also there, like the Grama Sabha is entitled to take decisions on how a forest forest is managed under the Tribal Forest Right Act. And sir, under Tribal Forest Right Act, we can't exploit the forest at our own, it gives a cushion for the forest development in a sustainable manner. In this regard, Forest Right Act is very helpful in today's arena.
Okay. Fine. So, tell me something about the classification of forest, which is the most commonly used classification.
Yes, sir. So the forests are classified on basis of several parameters. So for example, the important on the basis of age, it has been divided into even-aged forest and uneven-aged forest. Sir, even-aged forest is basically the type of forest in which the species are of nearly similar age. Sir, no natural type of forest is even-aged forest. It has always been uneven-aged forest, and uneven-aged forest is the type of species are not of same age. So sir, that is artificial forest. For example, in Kerala there is a Nilambar teak forest plantation. So sir, that is uneven type of forest. That is a type of artificial forest. And sir, on the ownership approach also, we can also classify it through private forest and public forest. Private forest is basically a enterprise can develop the forest species in an area through which the forest crops can be grown. And sir, the natural forest or the government forest in which the government has the sole control of it. And sir, there can be other classifications also in which the crops can be cultivated, like in the it can be also divided into reserve forest, village forest, protected forest. Sir, what is reserve forest? Reserve forest is in which the forest species are being cultivated, and sir, that is all reserved for the benefits of the local people. That is reserve forest. And protected forest, the management of the forest has been entrusted upon the local people so that the local inhabitant can be benefited. And sir, similarly, village forest, the responsibility of managing the forest entrusted on the villagers. Sir, there is also a classification that can be classified on the, that is normal forest or abnormal forest. Sir, it has been classified as if a forest has normal growing stock, normal rotation, then that can be classified under the normal forest. And the abnormal forest, that is in which the rotation is uneven, that the growing stock is not that much good, that comes under the abnormal forest. And sir, champion set also has also classified the forest in a holistical manner, that classified under the 5 broad groups, like the evergreen forest, semi-evergreen forest, temperate forest, and subalpine and alpine forest. So that is the type of classifications we do with forests.
So, tell me something about your studied forest mensuration. Okay, how are you going to calculate the yield of a standing tree?
Yes, sir.
What are the formulas that are used?
Sir, for calculating the yield of the forest, yield of the standing forest, then sir, the normal, there is a method, like the normal growing stock, we take the normal growing stock, and sir, then we can enumerate it on a geometrical formula. Sir, I am not sure about it particularly explaining.
Okay. What are the various forest surveying methods that you know?
Yes, sir. Sir, in forest surveying method, one can do the triangular surveying method, in which the forest is divided into several triangles, small triangles. We can measure the area, then we submit that and after that we can get the total area, that is triangular survey method. Sir, there is also many types of geometrical methods also we can measure the survey method, and sir there is instruments like the compass, theodolite, we can use that for surveying the forest also.
Okay. So what do you mean by minor forest produce, and what term nowadays is being used for minor forest produce?
Yes sir. Sir, minor forest produce relates to the forest produce that we accrue from the forest, irrespective of the timber we get from the forest. Sir, that relates to that nowadays is called non-timber forest produce. That is NTFP we use for minor forest produce. Sir, there are several minor forest produces. So, for example, there is gum, there is resin, there is also silk we extract, and there is shellac, and there is we can dye, several types of dye, tannins we can get from the forest. That are the non-timber forest produce.
Okay. You come from Nagar district.
Yes sir.
What is, tell me something about the forest resources in your district.
Yes sir. Sir, Noyagad is a forest resource rich district, and there are several types of flora and fauna there. Sir, for example, the Bhimara range of Daspala has also numerous kinds of flora species there. For example, sal tree, kusum tree, and sir there are also sisu tree is also there, and sir the kashi and phasi, these are the typical type of trees we encountered in forest that increases the floral biodiversity of that area. Sir, that is Noyagad is basically.
What is the total forest cover
Sir, of India or Odisha?
of your district?
Sir, my district, sir, I'm not sure about the exact figure, but it amounts to 30 to 40%.
Okay. Fine. So, last question. How will your knowledge of forestry and agriculture help you as an administrator?
Yes sir. Sir, आज Odisha, sir, it is also a biodiversically important floral state, and sir, as the people of Odisha dependent on the agriculture so much, that is more than 60% of the people depend on the agriculture. So I think, sir, if we develop the agricultural and forestry aspect of the Odisha, that can develop the state's economic scenario to a great extent. Sir, in this respect, my optional subject agriculture forestry can help me in a very great extent. Sir, for example, in agricultural aspect, I have studied agriculture 4 years meticulously, and sir, I have been close to the farming community in several occasions, and I found their problems in a several multi-layered approach. Sir, for example, if I get into the administration, then we can certainly empower the farmers in FPO, that is farmer producing organization, in a vigorous manner, so that they can get good prices for their produce. And sir, we can also give them the latest technology that we can help, like sir, there is climate smart agriculture, there is precision agriculture. We can also give them training, that so that they can plant crops according to that. And sir, I can also technology, put technology in the marketing channel also we can use. And sir, there is several cooperative society, we can strengthen them for the benefit of agriculture sector. Sir, we can do that in that regard, and we can give them quality seeds, planting materials, and they can benefit them from that. So we can also bridge the extension gap between the farmers and the researchers going on. That is the lab to land approach. We can expedite that approach. And sir, basically in forestry sector, my knowledge on forestry can certainly be helpful, as Odisha is also a forest research rich state. So nearly 39.13% are forest in Odisha. There are several tree species like sal, kusum trees, there sisu tree, piasala, that also the important species of Odisha, and there are several non-timber forest produce also there. Sir, we can export the timber to also other nations, to other states in a sustainable manner, and we can use them in our state also. We can also market the NTFP, that is non-timber forest produce, through tribal federation, through several means, so that the local tribal people of area can get the benefit of it. And sir, we can also use the single window marketing channel, so that the farmers produce can be, the tribal can use the local forest products, and sir, they can market them to the people, so that they can get the direct benefits from it without middleman. We can also help that. And sir, there are sometimes we can use the mensuration approach and the survey approach. We can use, my knowledge on that will helpful to access the area in a very holistic, and we can use, sir, drone technology for that, to know the forest fires. Forest fires has been happening in Odisha state nowadays. For example, in Similipala forest there has been a huge fire broke out. I can use drone technology and the GIS GPS system we can use to know the exact location of the fire there. Sir, recently there are several schemes like Amo Jangal Yojana, and there are Bandhan scheme. We can integrated them so that the tribal people can get the proper benefit from it, and get proper remuneration from the forest produce. So sir, in this regard, my optionals will help me in administration to a large extent.
Okay, fine. So that will be the end of the interview.
Thank you, sir.
Assessment है ठीक अच्छी अपन सिटिंग पोजीशन आई कांटेक्ट बहुत ही भलो थिला.
Yes.
ओके कंटेंट जेतो आपनकर एग्रीकल्चर और ये ऊपर तेनु आपनकर निज डोमेन तो आपन भलो रे कहले.
I guess.
सब जिनसर टिके माने तार एप्लीकेटिव पार्ट ता एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को केमती हेल्प करिवो व्हाटएवर आपनकर डोमेन रो सेही ता ऊपर टिके स्पेशल फोकस करे. So it's अपन देई चंदी and most of the things you are able to answer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I am expecting a good marks in interview.
Thank you.
अपन ये देखंदी जो पैनल इंटरव्यू देखले
ना सर, दिन 23 रे अछि. 23 या 25 आगे.
ओके फाइन. तो सेथरे पैनलिस्ट माने कम मार्क दोचन सेटा देखो.
I guess, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.